Is fear keeping you from moving abroad without you even knowing that that is the case? Well, stay tuned because I'm going to talk all about that in this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Patricia Brooks, and I'm an American expat living in the south of France and have been since 2018. And I help women who are ready to start the next chapters of their lives, living in a foreign country, move through fear and self-doubt and uncertainty so that they can finally make the move and start their new lives in their dream countries. And on this channel, I share content about life in France, about moving abroad, and how to find that confidence and courage that is deep within you so that you can do the things that mean the most to you. And today I'm going to talk about fear. It's something that I get a sense that a lot of people are afraid to even admit that they have. But sometimes maybe they don't even know they have it. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Is fear keeping you from moving abroad without your even knowing it? How could that be? Well, there are two kinds of behaviors that people exhibit who sometimes are fearful, but they don't know it. And the first one I want to talk about is procrastination. Procrastination is you've decided you're going to do this thing. And then when it comes time for you to take action on it, you don't do it. And then you say, well, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that next week. And the thing never gets done. Well, procrastination can be a mask for fear because in doing the thing that you tell yourself you want to do, that will create a change in your life. Moving abroad will change your life. And you might be afraid of what that new life will look and feel like. You know, what friends will you lose over a move abroad? How hard will it be to make that move abroad? And so you may procrastinate in clearing out your attic because, well, once that attic gets cleared out, then you're one step closer to making that move abroad. Maybe you want to hire somebody to help you with the logistics or with your mindset shift so that you can really settle in nicely in your new country. But you don't hire them because, well, if you take that step, then you know what? You're one step closer. And it's scary to think about what your new life could be, right? What if this happened or what if that happened? And so procrastination can mask this fear that many people have about moving abroad. I recently experienced procrastination, okay? I just finished writing the second draft of my third book. And I was really happy that I had gotten to that place. I went to the office supply store. I had it printed out with the intention of going through it end to end to see if it made any sense, if it was logical, what changes needed to be made before I go on to the next step of either self-publishing or, sending it around to publishers to see who might want to publish it. And I printed that out about a week and a half ago, maybe 10 days ago. And it was just yesterday that I sat down to go through it to see what I had. And I realized yesterday that the reason that I was not digging in was because I was afraid. I was afraid that, well, if I dig in and maybe it isn't as logical or doesn't flow as well as I thought it would, that means that there would be a lot of work and to do. Right? I've already put in a lot of work and I just want this to be done. So I was avoiding looking at potential work that I didn't want to do. But also I was afraid that, well, maybe I'm just not that good of a writer. Now you might laugh because I've already published 2 books, but I do have a bit of imposter syndrome around this because those first 2 books were really more self-help. There was a self-help element at the end of each chapter, and that felt good to me, felt like a crutch. I'm a coach and that's what I do. This book is a memoir, straight memoir. There's no self-help component to it, except in the insights that the person who's reading it gains. So for me, it's like, am I a good enough writer to write a memoir? And so in not reading what I've written and worked really hard on, that allows me to avoid seeing whether or not my writing is any good. Now, if it's not as good as I thought it was when I wrote it, for the second time, That doesn't mean I can't get it to a place where it can be good. It just means there's going to be more work. And I don't really want that more work. So I procrastinated, but I am at a place where I looked at it yesterday, read a few chapters, and feel better that, yes, there's still some work to be done, but I'm going to get through this so that I can get to that next step. Procrastination only hurts you. But the second thing that people who want to move abroad do that may have fear but don't necessarily recognize it is that they don't decide. They are indecisive. I talk to a lot of people on these discovery calls that I have who want to move abroad, but they don't know where, right? They've been wanting to move abroad for 2 years or 3 years or maybe even longer, and they haven't settled on the country they're going to move to. And this indecision is something that is holding them back. But why haven't they decided in so much time? Fear. They don't want to get it wrong. What if I pick a country and it's not the right country? Right? What if is underlying that inability to choose. But if you don't choose, you can't take the next steps. You can't figure out how much savings you might need if you're going on a visitor visa and you're going to take a career break like I did. You can't study the language that you might need because, well, if you might go to Portugal, you might go to Italy, you might go to Germany, you might go to Spain, you might go to France. You're not going to study 5 languages, right? In deciding, that helps you to take the next steps. And in not deciding and being indecisive, that keeps you from making a mistake. You make a mistake, then you'd be wrong. And maybe you have a fear of being wrong. Or maybe you pick a place and it's right. And your life changes drastically and things shift. Some things that you like kind of fall out of your life. Some things that you don't like maybe come into your life. And that change, those differences scare you. And so you don't decide. So location is one area where people who want to move abroad don't decide. That masks fear. But another one is setting a timeline, right? People may say, I want to move to a certain country. Maybe they even know that much, but then they don't set a date. Because setting a date is vital because it helps you to feel like there's a fire under you. Helps you to move forward and say, oh, well, this time next year will come. In no time, I need to do the things I need to do. But if you have this open-ended date, one day I'm going to move to France, then you don't really have that sense of urgency. And sometimes people have valid reasons for not wanting to set a date. But even with those valid reasons, I suggest that you put a line in the sand, doing your best estimate on when those things might happen. So for example, if you need to sell a house before you can make that move abroad, when do you think that house will sell? Right? Is it a good market in your area? Is it not? Some people say, oh, well, it'll take me 3 months because it's a good market, and with closing 3 or 4 months, I should be good. Some people might not be in a good market and it might take longer. So maybe they want to say 6 to 8 months, right? And maybe even give themselves a buffer beyond that so that they feel confident in that date, so that they have something to work toward, so that they have decided, selling a house is a reason, finding work opportunities, whether it's an opportunity that will sponsor your visa or whether it's a remote work anywhere in the world job that you can take with you. Setting a date is something that you can do whether or not you know if that date will be good. You can do your best guesstimate and you can give yourself a little bit of a buffer at the end, whether it's a month or 6 weeks or 2 months beyond that, so that you feel comfortable with that. And go with that. Start doing things as if you're going to be making that move abroad in that time frame. Because that gets you doing things. That gets you out of procrastination mode, because if you have an open-ended date, you're not going to be doing things because you don't feel the sense of urgency. And you might say, oh, okay, that's great, Patricia, but what happens if my house doesn't sell in that time frame? What happens if I don't find that opportunity in that time frame? if that date comes and goes, that date is a great time to assess what you're doing, what you might need to change in order to have more success in that area. Do you need to hire somebody to help you? Do you need to lower the price of your house? Do you need to consider another opportunity other than working for somebody else? Maybe you decide to start a business, or you become a consultant so that you give yourself permission to work anywhere in the world, and then people hire you as a consultant and allow you to do that. All right? Maybe things have to change, but that date, setting a date, can be a pivot point, right? If circumstances don't happen in that time frame, it's a time to assess, reassess, maybe change your plan and move forward. Because otherwise, you might be looking for a remote work anywhere in the world job for years because you did not have that sense of urgency, because you did not reassess your efforts, because maybe your efforts weren't there because you didn't have that sense of urgency. So it's so vital to make a decision. Decide the location, decide on timing, and that will help you to move things forward. Now, recently I was interviewed by Adrienne Leeds, and we talked about how you can move through fear. And one of the things that helped me move through fear, that helped me to decide to move to France, to look at my finances to see if I could take a couple years off and take a career break, was I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And this is something that you can do as well. The thing that made me sick and tired of being sick and tired was an inaugural speech in 2017. I had been wanting to move to France since 2015, and all I'd been doing was studying French. I hadn't looked at how much money I would need to go on a visitor visa. I hadn't looked at anything, or housing or anything. And that external force was the thing that made me say, Patricia, what are you doing? You've been wanting to do this for 2 years. Get on this. And I got sick and tired of being where I was. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that led me to hire a coach who helped me to stop procrastinating, helped me to look at my finances. And a year later, I was living in France. But sometimes there's not an external force that is strong enough that makes you do the hard thing and hire a coach, or look at the thing that you're avoiding and take action. But you can create that pain point in your life. You can make yourself sick and tired of being sick and tired by asking yourself a number of questions. And I want to put a link to that Adrienne Leeds video up here so that you can check out what those questions are, because I might do a video on my channel on this, but right now that's what's available. So you can check that out. And to start that here would be like another 20-minute conversation. So I'm going to let you check that out. Or if you're interested in having me talk about what those questions are on this channel, on my channel, then go ahead and comment. Yes, please talk about how I can make myself sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then I'll do a video on that here. All right. So with that said, what's your next step? What do you need to do? I think being aware that fear is the underlying thing for some of these behavioral patterns you have that are keeping you stuck is a great thing. But then once you're aware, what are you doing now, right? Maybe you are afraid and you need somebody to help you to move through that fear and self-doubt, give you a plan and help you move through that. And if that's the case, I'd love to have a conversation. So you can click the link in the description for a complimentary discovery call where we'll talk about where it is you want to go, where you want to be, what things are holding you back, and if our working together could help you get there sooner and with more ease. And that could be a next step. But perhaps truly you just need some information. You don't know, what visas are available, or you don't know how to find an apartment or a house. Then your next step might be to reach out somebody who works with you on logistics. But either way, having an awareness that fear is at play and that you need to take some action in one direction or another will get the ball rolling. I thoroughly look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great day. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, share it with a friend, subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.